Too near the main floor and the cops will find you and throw you on the streets. Too far from help and you may get robbed and beaten by other homeless residents of the terminal. A good home can't be found by others. A good home is far enough from the steam pipe so that its residents can breathe. That's a good home, but there's only one nicest home in Grand Central Station. To find the nicest home in Grand Central Station, you have to walk down a lot of stairs. If you go early enough, all you'll see is the occasional sign of people who have slept on the stairwell. But if you go late, those people will be there in person, rarely moving, covered in filthy blankets, with moldy food just inches away. More tempting for the rats, really, than the hungry. You step around them as you descend, and when the stairs end, you come to a ladder. In the nicest home in Grand Central Station, you have to step gingerly. A wrong step like I made, and you end up in a hole that could have meant a bad fall. Thanks to the man who lives here, I only scraped up my hand and ankle a little. You have made a home here.
Right.
Why?
I look at it like this: we're homeless, but we ain't hopeless.
Much of the area beneath Grand Central Station is uncomfortably warm, even in the dead of winter. But here there is a breeze that seems to come from nowhere and makes it far more livable. Because it's so isolated, the couple who lives here spreads their possessions out. Books and magazines, a change of clothes, even extra shoes. They don't have to worry about other homeless stealing their stuff because they wouldn't be able to find it. They even hooked up an electric light to read by. The couple used to sleep in a stairwell, but it wasn't safe.
We used to sleep down there, but then the police kept coming down, and they would make everybody move out. So we got so tired of the police bugging us. So we built a little ladder, and I came up here and I checked it out.
The two people who live in the nicest home in Grand Central Station take showers each day at a nearby shelter, and they eat at soup kitchens and work hard at taking care of themselves in a civilized manner. And they have little sympathy for those who don't.
They have dirty clothes, but you can always go to a church, and the church will give you some clothes. You take the dirty clothes, you can wash your clothes, because soap doesn't cost neither. Soap and water doesn't cost. If you wanted to get yourself together, niggas, long story short, life is what you make it.
And what he has made for himself here is a home, the nicest home in Grand Central Station, insulated with warmth and security. But not only security from you, though, I would guess, right?
No, security from the other people in the area, too.
Yeah. They are, in at least that sense, victims of one another.
Oh, yes, all the time.
Still, it's a common complaint of the residents of Grand Central, the way they're treated by the cops. Police have been sanctioned for their behavior, but those who live here say it continues without interruption.
You wouldn't want to catch an elevator ride, because point blank, I'm telling you like this, brother. They try to up, just like they tried to do me the other day.
So, afraid of the cops and afraid of each other, many homeless stick to themselves, because making friends at Grand Central Station can be a dangerous business.
They'll take them in the back trucks and they'll use them. And they'll only get what they want from them. As soon as they're done, they'll either beat them up so bad that the girl don't want to talk to nobody, or she just don't want to talk because she's too scared to talk.
It is the first of many unpleasant realities newly homeless people confront. The streets are a constantly violent world where you must always fear, ironically, those closest to you. Tomorrow we'll take a look at how these people who spend their nights underground spend their days, and why they have created for themselves a world as foreign to us as a faraway country. It is a defense, and when we descend the stairs tomorrow, we will be on their turf, where they make the rules. Ernie,
That'll be interesting to see. Thank you, Jim. Coming up next here, experts say American youngsters are far behind in math and science. We have a special report on what you can do to help your children.
Also, in sports, the Knicks try to extend their home winning streak to
the mole people. And tonight, Jim Dolan reports live for us from Grand Central with part 3 of a special report. Jim.
Ernie, if you have to commute through here every day, you probably think you know this grand old building pretty well. But what you probably know is the main floor and maybe one floor below. You know where to catch your train and where to get a cab if you need one. But if you want to learn about the people who live in Grand Central Station, well, that's a different story. That's a dangerous job. First, you have to wait till about 1:30 in the morning when this station closes, and then you have to walk down a lot of stairs. You have to walk through the shadows and get lost in the tunnels. You won't see anyone at all at first until you learn where to look and what signs to look for. Look fast if you want to see the residents of the maze beneath Grand Central Station. They are shadows and then a face that quickly disappears. They are phantoms whose backs you might catch for a moment, but who will soon be gone.
He worked his way through a maze to get in there. It's a sense of security for him. I would have to crawl through the pipes myself to get at him.
No, it's not likely they'll be caught down here. This is not our world here, nor the world of the cops. Here we are on their turf, invading their homes, and it will be morning rush hour before they ascend to a world we know.
They'll come back in the morning. They hand out a lot of free meals around, so that brings them out.
These miles of pipes down here beneath Grand Central Station provide the steam not only for Grand Central, but for a number of the adjoining buildings. It's extremely hot in here, well over 100 degrees, and often when the police come down here and they find people, they also find slabs of meat on the pipe. This is where the homeless, the people who live down here, cook their food. Those who are caught down here, 3 levels beneath the station floor, are often found nude because the heat creates a steam bath for anyone who spends any time here. It is a spooky world they inhabit, with few even dreaming of getting out. During the day, they must fear the police who would put them out on the streets, but after the station closes its doors at about 1:30 in the morning and the police finish their rounds, they need only worry about each other.
There's a bunch of crackheads sitting there doing their rock.
Crackheads, those who do crack or rock, they are one of the biggest fears of those who don't do drugs and one of the biggest reasons for homelessness. For those who need the drug, a home becomes an unaffordable luxury, and Grand Central Station offers at least the illusion of a safe haven.
Some people out here can go home, but they don't want to. Then you got a lot of people out here like me.
Why don't they want to?
Because they want to sit there.
Because they're out here smoking that shit.
And also, and I'll tell you a reason why. Because I have a friend, and he told me the reason he lives on the street and he's doing crack. Free rent, free food, ain't got to worry about nothing, ain't got to worry about
crack.
More money for crack.
As they stand and talk, the residents of the tunnels seem to treat one another with only passing regard. Notice the sleeping man behind us under the stairway. Those sleeping are little more than pieces of furniture to step around by those who can't yet sleep. And when the people I'm talking with have found their space in the tunnels, they'll be stepped around too. And when morning comes, they'll be back upstairs and on the streets.
You know, you're stranded to the situation, you know what I mean? You know, either you have a choice. You either panhandle and somebody helps you out, just like she was saying, somebody helps you out, or either you just say, hey, this is it, and just lay down and die.
Well, in some ways, many of the people already have decided to just lay down and die. You can panhandle for money here, and drugs are easy to find on the main floor. But hope is the one thing in precious short supply on the main floor at Grand Central Station. Tomorrow, we'll leave this building and explore some of the city's subway stations and meet some of the people who call those places home. And we'll meet a woman who nearly lost her life when a homeless man tried to set her and the place she worked on fire. That's tomorrow night. Arnie, Kaidi?
Jim, thank you. Next, Dwight Gooden becomes the highest paid player in baseball.
Also, the Knicks try to work their winning ways in Atlanta. Corey McFerrin has all the sports when we continue.